What's up, everybody? It's Luke Filmboss here, and I am back with a new video for y'all, because today I am going to be reviewing Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And I'm a little bit late on this one, but life's been happening, but I'm back now. Here's your video. Let's get into it. So the last Marvel video that I did was about the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I expressed my disappointment in that episode, and the rest of the show didn't really impress me that much. There was a few, well, not a few, a couple, like 2 episodes I thought were really good, and the rest weren't good. So Falcon and the Winter Soldier, disappointing. Loki started off great, got disappointing. In the middle, it got great again, and then the last 2 episodes really disappointed, especially the finale. So Loki, disappointment. Black Widow, I'm going to be making a review on this one soon, so stay tuned. But it's literally like the worst movie that the MCU has produced so far. Black Widow, disappointing. So I thought the trailers for Shang-Chi looked good. I thought that Marvel was going to give us at least a good spectacle, if nothing else, something with Black Widow, and even some of their Marvel shows that they've been recently putting out haven't been doing much. So I was going in expecting to be blown away visually. But as I watched the movie, it was way more than just a visual spectacle. And I love that about Shang-Chi. It is very character driven, and it's very consistent, even if I think some of the character moments were a little bit odd. I don't want to get into spoilers, but I think that the villain's motivation is a little bit too based on emotions, that his common sense, especially considering he's like a few thousand years old, isn't being used. Like, I feel like he would be smarter. But overall, I like the villain. He was one of the best villains out of the entire MCU. He's not the top tier like Thanos or Loki or some of my other favorites, but he was very good. He was better than the average Marvel villain. And Shang-Chi himself was a good character. I'm not going to say that the performance or the character blew me away, but I liked him. I definitely cared about his backstory, and he had some very good character development. And he's pretty edgy. Like, his backstory, it's a lot darker than most Marvel movies tend to go. And I like that about this movie, is that it goes in for what it's going for. That way you can actually like soak up the emotions that our characters are feeling, because it like shows you where they're coming from, and then it like elaborates on that, something which Black Widow doesn't do. Black Widow is so tonally inconsistent. This movie is consistent, even with the humor, the typical Marvel humor that they just throw in there because it's expected now from Marvel fans. It doesn't mess with the tone of this movie, and I am very grateful for that. I'm not going to say that this movie is perfect. There's a lot of other characters in this movie that I enjoy, but they weren't like super big standouts to me. I loved the soundtrack. It's just like this, I don't know, this really upbeat soundtrack with like, it's like Asian pop, I don't know. It's cool. So, overall, I'd say that this is one of the best Marvel movies of late, at least since Spider-Man Far From Home. I'd say that this movie might actually be better, even though I did prefer the latest Spider-Man movie. The standout for this movie was definitely the action and the fight sequences, because unlike a lot of superhero blockbusters and other big blockbuster films that just have big spectacles and cool fight scenes, this movie not only just had that, and the fight scenes and choreography were excellent. They were top-notch, especially for Marvel. But each fight has like a bigger purpose behind it, especially with the characters. Like, it tells you a little bit about the characters so that you understand why the characters are fighting. It's not just a bunch of goons fighting our hero all the time. There's actually some personal fights and tension between each of the characters in the fight scenes. And for example, let's just take the first fight scene where the Mandarin, or whatever his actual name is, Shang-Chi's dad, fights who later becomes Shang-Chi's mother. That fight was just so beautiful, and like it was like a dance, but the fight itself was telling a story. It wasn't just mindless fighting and clashing of human beings. There was emotion, there was personal, like, relationship building, or in some of the other fight scenes, relationship destruction. It was tearing down relationships. So yes, Shang-Chi is A-list when it comes to action. Visuals were great. Characters were pretty good, not top-notch, but it does have one of the better Marvel villains. In the end, yes, this was a very pleasant surprise. I am now not certain that Marvel is going to continue making quality content consistently, because they've already proven that they're not with this new Phase 4, which I have so far been disappointed with. But Shang-Chi is a very pleasant surprise. It's a nice feather in Marvel's cap, and I hope that the Eternals, the new Spider-Man movie, and all the upcoming Marvel movies can duplicate the success of Shang-Chi, both critically, artistically, financially, etc. It was very nice to see this movie on a big screen, so go out and watch it. In the end, I give Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings a 90% in quality, an 84% for my personal enjoyment, but I still liked it a lot. There was a lot of things that I loved in this movie, some things that I didn't like as much, but nothing was overwhelmingly bad. So, in the end, the overall score for Shang-Chi is an 87%. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help you be on the lookout for more videos from Luke Film Boss.